Hello, how are you? My name's Tony. Welcome to Edinburgh. Hope you are happy, healthy and well out there. Today we're going to talk about reasons that you need to come down to the Port of Leith. This is a nice one. This is a good one today because I actually had trouble trying to make a small list for this because there's so many reasons to come down to the Port of Leith. I know that I am awful for just staying in the centre of Edinburgh and showing you that. I know, you don't need to tell me. But today we're ventured back down to the Port of Leith just to give you a few reasons. And number one is the history of the place. It's just incredible, and you can see it in every little corner of it. Take this area I'm at right now. Have a look at this. Just look. Can you tell what I'm talking about? Look at these streets. These are all old tram lines. None of these are active anymore, but they're still there. The cobbled streets are still here. Look at the buildings. Yeah, okay, they've been turned into offices and apartments and, you know, all these studio flats and things like that. But you can see that these are all old factories and shipyards and custom and excise buildings, and you know, you can tell that used to have a bit that lifted things up to go in, you know, I mean, all these sort of things. But look at that. I do love these tram lines, and there's more. I'll show you more in a minute, but well, let's just appreciate for a second. There's some bits that you can see that the trams just went into buildings. Have a look at this. Now this is what I was wanting to show you, but before I do, I just spotted this. See this bit here? It's this random little bit of cobble and tram line right there, and it's because now, I'm not sure when it came in, but if a street is a cobbled street in Edinburgh now, that's what it has to remain. So obviously when they were doing this, that part there was still cobbled, so now they have to keep that as cobbled. Doesn't matter if it's small and tiny, but that has to stay the way it is. Anyway, let's follow the tram lines here. See this? See these nice big tram lines here that then aims to go into this building here. You see what I mean? All these little bits where deliveries would have went, and you can see that looks like, that big window there looks like it would have been an entrance there into the building. See that? You can see the brickwork is different there than the rest of it. So the tram lines come to here. There they are, underneath the car there. You can just see a little bit of it there. There's the other one. Perfectly into the centre of there. I love that. I absolutely love that. And that's only a little bit of the history. Let me show you more. Because Leith, like the Port of Leith, there's records that show it right back to the 11th century. That's like 900 years ago that there used to, the first records of a port being down here. That's ridiculous. You know what I mean? That's just a stupid amount of time. Almost difficult to imagine. Almost, not quite. But there's so much history passed through Leith. Kings and queens have arrived here. I've touched on this already, but let's show you those parts as well. King's Landing, marking where King George IV landed in Edinburgh in Scotland, invited by Sir Walter Scott. It's the first time a king had been up here for a few hundred years. And over the other side, as I've mentioned before, we've got where Mary Queen of Scots landed when she came back to Scotland. And again with the history as well, Mary of Guise, I think is how you pronounce it, is also used to run Scotland from here while Mary Queen of Scots was a child in France. Secondly, and this is a nice one, Leith and the Port of Leith is becoming a destination for lots of reasons, and one of them is places to eat and drink. There's so many beautiful restaurants and places to eat now. I'm not going to give you a full tour of them all because that would be a video in itself, just going here's lots of places to eat, but let me just show you some of the places that you can get a look at, that you come eat at. Look at this, Lost in Leith Bar and Fermentary. I don't even know what that is, but it sounds lovely. And again, it's part of this old shipyard docks building. But look at it now, this beautiful little, it's a coffee shop and two hands open for artisan coffee, cakes and food. There we go, look at that. as well as it being a bar as well. But there's more, there's more. It's only like 8 in the morning, coming up for 9 in the morning right now. I can smell the food coming from this. Look at this is the kitchen. Kitchin. Kitchen. Which I'm not going to look at the menu, but look at that, doesn't that look beautiful as well? So even just walking along here, you can see we've got the barologist, which looks like it's obviously a bar that serves food. We've got Mediterranean restaurant there. We've got the Pizza Geeks right there, which I love their entrance with the Doctor Who. And then down here you've just got a delicatessen and then another seafood place. There's so many food options here, it's kind of ridiculous in a good way. And then once we get down here, there's a small bakery, another restaurant there with the granary. There's the Ship on the Shore pub, which does a lot of seafood, and then there's more seafood places down there. So lots of seafood, obviously, because we are at the shore. And then if we head up that way, you've got Toast, and you've got one of my favourites, which I talk about all the time, which is just there, which is Mimi's Bakehouse. So you've got so many options in the area for food. It's a beautiful day today as well. Can we just appreciate the stillness of the water? The Ocean Mist is a kind of hotel, but I'm not sure if it's a restaurant as well, actually. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. Lovely clear skies. A little bit cold, but lovely clear skies. So, we've got enjoy the history. Number one, lots of history about the place, so much. Not just with big things like with royal visits, just the history of the area, the history of it being, you know, a port, and the buildings round about ooze the history. But you've also got, what do you call it, the food. So many good food places. Those themselves are two great reasons to come down here. Number three, the waters of Leith. You can start or finish your walk right here. It's a great day to show you this, actually. We're very lucky because it's just clear, very little breeze. Oh, look at that glare right there from the sun. But you can start your walk right here and head up the water of Leith. Or you could, you know, finish it here. But if you start from here, let's say you're starting from here, because we are talking about the Port of Leith. You can start from here. You don't need to walk all. You could walk up to Stockbridge from here. You could walk up to Dean Village from here. It's a lovely little journey to take, or you could just sit and enjoy the waters right here. I definitely recommend walking the waters of Leith, though. You'll get to cut through the town. You'll get to see areas that you probably won't normally see, and you won't feel like you're in a city. You know what I mean? You'll just feel like you're walking along a riverbank somewhere. It definitely has to be something on the list to do. I'll put in a little map of the water of Leith right now. Just while we're still on the history here, these are some parts of old ships, and I think there's an anchor just lying here, an old anchor. Look at that. The size of that. Wow. See what I mean? They're just history using the place. Even if we look at this building, which is now places where people live, you can see that this obviously used to be where they used to load things in. You know, there's the old thing, load it into each level there. The history of the place is just outstanding. I probably could have just made this a list of you have to come down here to see the history, but I don't want to. I want to give you a few reasons to come down. It's a lovely, lovely spot, and becoming nicer all the time. There's so many more things getting added here. Toast is great, Mara's great. There's Mimi's Bakehouse as well. Back to the food. I know we're a little bit random and we're a little bit all over the place today, but I'm just enjoying showing you things. So far, let's recap. Number one, the history. You know I love my history. Number two, the food and bars. So many different options. Obviously, if you want seafood, you want to come down here. There's a lot of good seafood places. But there's delis, and there's pubs, and there's all these sort of things. Definitely worth another visit. Look, here's another anchor. There's another anchor. Just lying there. God, that sun is beating in my eyes. And third, the waters of Leith, either to appreciate it here or to start your walk or end your walk. It's definitely something you should do. I don't know if I should count that as something to do here, but I think I can, because I think it'd be remiss to ignore the waters of Leith when we're here. Now, those are three things that are all kind of together in this main sort of area here, but we're going to go now to beside Ocean Terminal, where there's two things, the last two things on the list are two different sort of things that you can do. But before I go to the last two, there was a point where I used to say Ocean Terminal. You could come down and go to Ocean Terminal, which is a mall and a cinema and a gym and all the things that you would expect to find in there. However, just under half of Ocean Terminal, right, look at that sky behind me, how beautiful is that? Just under half of Ocean's Terminal has been knocked down right now. They're doing a massive amount of rebuilding on it. They're kind of, as you can see, they can do it in stages as well. I'm guessing they've left this half because the cinema's in there, so they're keeping the cinema open and going, and there's some shops open the other side. I'm guessing they'll rebuild this side and then start with the other side. However, there are still two other things to do here. And as unglamorous as it is, they're both behind this. And the first one is just peeking out over there. And here we are, the first one. The Port of Leith Distillery. This is a new Scotch whisky distillery that's opened up here in Edinburgh. As you can see, it's a vertical distillery. It's not a column distillery, no, it is your more traditional Scotch whisky distillery, but you can go in, you can visit. You can do a distillery tour and you can also do tastings. However, there's a couple of little bits with that. You've got beautiful sunset behind me and all that rubble. It's a weird combination. So, the Port of Leith Distillery. Edinburgh in itself is becoming a larger whisky destination. For a long time it just wasn't. Apart from all the whisky bars, it wasn't really much of a whisky destination. However, saying that, in recent years it's changed. Now, we've had the Scotch whisky experience up on the Royal Mile for a long time. It's well established as a good whisky experience, not a distillery, but a good place to go. Then, about 4 years ago, almost 4 years ago, Holyrood Distillery opened. This was the first actual whisky distillery to open up here in Edinburgh for about 100 years. Now, there are rules when distilling Scotch whisky, and here are the rules. It must be aged in an oak cask. It must be aged for at least 3 years, and it must be distilled in Scotland. If it's not those three things, then it's not Scotch whisky. It's whisky, it's not Scotch whisky. So, the Port of Leith Distillery is new. The whisky that they are making is not 3 years yet, so when you do tastings and things, you won't be tasting their whisky that they are currently making. But they are doing whisky tastings, they are doing tours, it is up and running. It'll be a couple of years before they hit their first whisky. Holyrood Distillery up the road, if you want, they have last year released their first whisky. The first whisky made in Edinburgh for over 100 years. I bought a bottle. But it's a great, I think it's a great thing for us to have now, becoming more of a whisky destination. I can see more of that happening. Whisky tourism is huge. It is enormous, and it's getting bigger all the time. So it makes perfect sense for these things to be happening. I do know of another whisky distillery opening up just outside Edinburgh. There is a whisky distillery called Glenkinchie, which is not too far outside Edinburgh as well. It's difficult to get to, but you can do tours of it as well. So, there's number 4, really there. And number 5, just behind me. Look at that, what a beautiful shot. I was hoping I could cut here, but it doesn't look like I can. The Royal Yacht Britannia. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to walk behind there because of the building work, which is a real pain. I don't think I can, unfortunately, but the Royal Yacht Britannia. Let's put some pictures in whilst I talk. The Royal Yacht Britannia has been classed, graded, awarded one of the top tourist attractions in Britain, not just Scotland, in Britain. In case you don't know what it is the retired royal yacht commissioned for Her Majesty the Queen Elizabeth II, and she used, and her husband Prince Philip used, to tour the world for years. Go on tours around the world to see the colonies or other countries, or holiday vacation, listen to me, or holiday on it as well. They spent a lot of time. It was very, very, very precious to the Queen. It was a place that she felt safe, sanctuary from the duties and everything. You know what I mean? It was very special. Those of you who have watched The Crown, it features in it. She was incredibly upset when it got decommissioned, when it was retired. She asked them not to retire it, but unfortunately they did. So you can now, you can't quite see it. Normally, to get to it, you have to go into Ocean Terminal, the part that's still open. The ticket booth and the entrance is in Ocean Terminal, so you have to go in there to get to it. And you can do a full tour of it. We did it, me and Kirsten did it years ago now, like 6-7 years ago now. It's good. It's a headset tour, so you can do it in your own pace. You can listen to the information at your own pace. You know, there's numbers as you go about and you do it. You can enjoy yourself. You can take your time, which I think is possibly why it grades well. You know, you're not rushed. I don't know, but it's very informative. It's great to see if you're into your royal history, especially more contemporary, modern day royal history. If you're not, it's still a luxurious, nice yacht that you can go in and have a look at, you know. So it's well worth a visit, I think. Especially if you're coming to Scotland, you're coming to Edinburgh, and you're doing these sort of things. Edinburgh Castle, Holyrood Palace, Royal Yacht Britannia. Makes complete sense. Makes complete sense to get the trifecta, you know what I mean? I'm sorry that I can't quite get to it, but as I said, demolishing and building work almost directly beside it, so I can't really do much about that. So there we have 5 reasons, 5 things for you to come down to the Port of Leith. And number 6, to make it easier, you can get the tram right here. You can get the tram from the centre of town right down to the Port of Leith. In fact, it takes you right outside Ocean Terminal, brings you right to here. So get the tram down, get the bus there if you want, get the tram down, enjoy the history, the incredible history of this area. It's amazing. It's a beautiful, beautiful area. Enjoy the food and the bars. There's some great food and great bars, and if you get talking to some locals, there is some incredible characters. There's such lovely people down here in Leith, honestly. They will tell you about Leith. Leithers are very proud of who they are and where they're from. It's a great conversation to have with them. What was number 3? The waters of Leith. Couldn't remember that. The waters of Leith. Explore the waters of Leith. Whether you're finishing here or starting here, definitely explore the waters of Leith. It's a great thing to do. Number 3, Port of Leith Distillery. It's brand new. Yes, they're still making the very first, technically it's called New Make Spirit that they're making right now. It's not whiskey, like I said, till it's aged in an oak cask for 3 years within the borders of Scotland. It's not Scotch whiskey till that happens, but it's definitely worth a visit. So I've not done it yet, and I'm really looking, me and Kirsten are just waiting until we can get a chance to do it, because we don't live here. We've got to get here. We're going to be drinking whiskey. You know, these sort of things need taking care of. And almost got hit by a bus. And last but by no means least, the Royal Yacht Britannia. 5 great reasons to come down to the Port of the Leith. So there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope that's informative. Honestly, that's 5 great reasons to come down here. It really, really is. So get yourself down to Leith. If you've enjoyed that, as always, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, bye humans.